911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
All right, so now you're going to tell us about a fake kidnapping?
Guys, buckle up. This case is a wild ride. We have to talk about Carlee Russell. Brad, had you heard about this case before I brought it to you?
Yes, but I'd only heard about it in this horrible story about how this woman pulled over because she saw a toddler and then she was abducted and everyone was talking about this and like prayers up and all this. And then you texted me and you were like, hold up, this is sus. And then little do we know, it has turned out to be quite sus.
Yeah, it really has. So this started going down while we were in Memphis for Freedom Fest like 2 weeks ago. I actually was watching some of the videos on TikTok at the airport when I was leaving Freedom Fest. And my thought was, I need to go on and make a video about this because I'm going to get into the reasons why I felt compelled to do that. But thankfully, I didn't do it because I was in the airport and I was traveling. I didn't have time because I would have been caught up in this whole thing. So guys, sometimes it waits to weigh in on, or it pays to wait on things and wait for all the details to come out because this ended up being super problematic. So just to set kind of the context of why this story is important and interesting to me, according to data from the Black and Missing Foundation, nearly 40% of the hundreds of thousands of people that go missing every year are people of color, and 39% of the children that go missing are Black specifically. Keep in mind that Black people make up only 13% of the population, so they are vastly outweighed in the missing persons population. But you probably would not be aware of that if you follow the mainstream media. And I've talked about this on the show before. The late journalist Gwen Ifill coined the phrase missing white woman syndrome, and it basically describes the media's fascination with and detailed coverage of cases of missing or endangered white women, compared to what seems to be mostly just interest in covering the disappearances of people of color and men, I will add, right? You really don't see those kinds of missing people blow up, even though men go missing. I think it's 50-50 between men and women, last data I saw. So there is a focus on missing white women in the media. They get more resources, they get more attention, they tend to have larger funds to pay out to reward people if they help find them. And this is something that has begun to be talked about more and more, especially on TikTok. As we see more independent media popping up, there's a lot of people who are really conscious of this. And that's why I felt compelled to weigh in on Carlee's case, because she is a young Black woman. I want to roll this clip really quickly, talking about missing white woman syndrome and how other people are kind of thinking about it.
Shall we talk about missing white woman syndrome?
Well, missing white woman syndrome is a social phenomenon that tells us that if you go missing in America and you're white, you get 3 times more press coverage on average than a missing Black person. And if you're a woman, you get 3 times again than if you're a missing man, which means that a missing white woman gets 9 times more media coverage than a missing Black man. And that is missing white woman syndrome.
Wow, 9 times more coverage. That's pretty jarring.
Yeah, have you thought about that before, just out of curiosity? I know we kind of have we talked about it during the Gabby Petito case a little bit, but I'm curious, is that something that's you've noticed in the media, or is it just me? Because I've been hyper aware of it since college.
I have been aware of it yes, but I don't think I would have guessed. I would have guessed if you'd asked me, and I've definitely heard people talk about it. I would have said that women who go missing get a lot more media attention than men, and I would have probably said white women get more than Black women. But I don't think I would have pegged it that much. I don't think I would have expected a discrepancy to be that huge.
Yeah, it was interesting. The reason I first thought about it was back in college. One of my best friends, Amisha, who is Black, pointed this out to me. She said, can you name a famous Black person who went missing? And I was like, no. Whereas I could name off the top of my head 10 well-known cases of white women who've gone missing. And it just stuck with me after she said that, because it really bothered me on a very deep level. And I think other people, again, have started noticing this more and more. But Carlee's case seemed to be breaking that mold. While the details were pretty harrowing, there was kind of a camaraderie and sort of celebratory effect that TikTok and the Black community were rallying to make Carlee Russell's case go national. And again, this was not really mainstream media driven. It was more independent journalists, influencers, content creators, which I think is just one of many ways that new media is trumping legacy media, because I think individuals have power to notice problematic, trends in media and break them. So that was why I at first thought I need to weigh in on this too. The details went like this. It began on Thursday, July 13th. Family members of Carlee Russell say that she left the Woodhouse Spa at the Summit where she worked in Hoover, Alabama. She then stopped by Taziki's at the Colonnade at 9 p.m. to pick up food for herself and her mother. At 9:34 p.m., Hoover 911 received a call from the 25-year-old who told the dispatcher that she found a toddler wandering on the side of the interstate. Let's roll that clip.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay. And was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound? Or how old do they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male? Okay. Is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white T-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No cars are anywhere.
All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right. And do they have shoes on?
No.
No shoes?
Not that I can see. I can't really see that well.
Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
When officers arrived at the scene, Russell and the child were nowhere to be found, but her car, her wig, and her cell phone were on the roadway. And people started reacting. Yeah. People reacted very, very strongly to this because it just seemed so terrifying, right? Who wouldn't stop if you saw a toddler on the side of the interstate? Anybody would stop and you would get out to get it in your car at the very least, because it's a very dangerous setting. And to think that maybe this child was some kind of a lure or a trap for her, I mean, it's just as bad as it gets, right? People were really upset. Immediately funds started pouring in. Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama raised more than $63,000 in reward money to help find Russell.
Wow.
I want to roll this TikTok just to play one of many, many, many that took off, covering the initial reactions to Carlee going missing.
This is Carlee Russell, and she's from my hometown, Birmingham, Alabama. And last night, driving on the highway that I take to get home every single night, she was abducted. She saw a toddler on the side of the road. She called 911 and reported it. She hung up and called her sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law heard her get out the car and asked the child, "Are you okay?" Next thing she heard was screaming. After that, silence. The police pulled up 3 minutes later, and they found Carlee's wig, her phone, her Apple Watch, and her car still running with the door open. Someone called in and reported that they saw a gray vehicle in front of Carlee's red Mercedes before the police arrived. But other than that, it's no leads on this case. This could have been anybody. Driving down the highway, if you see a toddler on the side of the road, of course you're going to be concerned.
So, Brad, thoughts so far?
Well, one, that video gave me hives because her fire alarm noise went off 3 times, and that noise is so triggering to me. But no, I totally get it. I get it. Anyone would have pulled over if they saw a toddler on the highway. And the idea that that could have been used as like a trap is chilling. This nightmare stuff.
Yeah. So most people were in our camp, right? Harrowing, terrible, really worried for her, but not everyone. There were many people who thought her story was sus from the beginning, notably many Black women. And I think this is so interesting. One, there were no other reports of a toddler being spotted on the side of the road, which is weird because it's a busy interstate. You would anticipate if there's a toddler wandering down the side of the road, other people would have seen it, other people would have reported it. There would have been a missing child report in the area. There was nothing of the sort. Also, traffic cameras, which are, sparse throughout various interstate sections, didn't pick up anything of the sort. So that was already weird. But the Black community in particular thought that the part about her wig being on the ground was like a smoking gun that something was up. And this is so interesting to me because
explain this to me, because I don't get it.
You got to get deep into the politics of black hair on this, but this is great. So the New York Post actually covered this in depth. And according to their reporting, they said several hairstylists, wig experts, and salon patrons in Russell's hometown, all of whom are Black, told the Post that the wig immediately triggered suspicions that something seemed off, even before Russell reappeared. She would have certainly worn the wig at work, and it's unimaginable that she would have taken it off in the car. It would be like someone taking their underwear off, they said. The stylist said the wig appeared to be an expensive front lace wig that looked like a, quote, 613 color, which is a premium shade of platinum blonde. It is custom fitted and takes 10 to 15 minutes to remove, as it is actually glued to the scalp in some places. Custom wigs can cost as much as $800 and are $200 the bare minimum, they said. That was when the majority of Birmingham was like, she's lying. That's when it was split down the middle, where there were those that believed her and those that thought she was lying. It was the wig, hairstylist Kyra Joyner, 23, from Hoover, told the Post. First of all, your wig is going to be secure. Second, if somebody's taking you, they're going to try to cause the least attention they can. If people see a wig on the side of the road, people call the police when they see mannequin heads hanging out the side of our cars, she said. So I love this. I love that this wig was like the smoking gun in the case for many people, where they were like, no, something's up. And this is why I've said it before, I'll say it again. If someone goes missing, if you're trying to solve something, take it to the internet before the police. These people are sleuths. They're amazing. They do some detailed work. I don't think anybody in the Hoover police force was into the politics of wigs enough to have these details at the ready. But the Black community had them. They were discussing this on TikTok. And Brad, I'll pause there for your reaction because I'm sorry, it's very funny.
It's very funny. I think it's amazing. I'm always so impressed by these internet sleuths, these Reddit investigators, these people on TikTok. And it's always a little depressing to me that sometimes they can put together things that like police have been investigating for years and can't find. What you'll hear these stories about true crime podcasts where their fans went and looked into it and they find the guilty person all these years later, and it's like, what were the police doing? Probably too busy harassing people for smoking cigarettes in a park or something.
Right, or they prove that people are innocent. Like there's podcasts that have gotten people off death row that have been there for decades because they were able to prove these people were innocent before the courts could work it out. It's actually phenomenal. I love true crime for this reason. It's had amazing effects on the actual criminal justice system. So anyways, I'll set that aside. But yeah, it was pretty amazing the work that they were doing right there. I like that a lot. So this continues to go on for 2 days. Investigators are launching a massive search for Carlee during this time. On the Saturday after she went missing, police responded to a Red Roof Inn motel about 2 miles from the family's house, where a number of family members had arrived after saying Carlee called them and told them she was there. However, she wasn't discovered at the motel, and soon after, that evening, she reappeared on her parents' front doorstep on foot. So, right?
What did she have to say for herself?
That was what was really weird, is there was so little information coming out at first after this. They're like, yeah, she showed up on foot. She's okay. The Hoover police chief told AL.com that Carlee walked up to her parents' house and knocked on the front door late Saturday night. The family then called police, who arrived at the home shortly thereafter. She was taken to the UAB hospital because she was reportedly having trouble breathing, but she was released Sunday morning. Her mom said, we tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. Her boyfriend took to Instagram that evening to celebrate her return, and he wrote, she was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours, so until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment. Russell's mother also told USA Today that her daughter was kidnapped and that the person responsible is absolutely still at large. So she wasn't really making statements. Her family was kind of like shielding her, it seemed, and saying like she's not in any condition where she can talk to police or give any explanations yet, but like information will be forthcoming. And so the initial reaction was just a huge relief. I want to roll this other TikTok, just kind of looking at how people felt. I mean, people were really emotional about this when she was discovered.
Okay, yeah, so I think that they let her go off the simple fact that, for one, they didn't expect all these people to be searching for a black girl. But two, they don't never search for us like they did for this black girl. For three, it was a $20,000 reward. Then another thing, like, they probably was anticipating, going crazy, arguing with each other. What the fuck we do? What do we do? I promise you, they probably had a whole argument about what they gonna do with this girl because everybody in the world looking for her.
So, Brad, like, you can tell people are relieved, but also they're kind of like patting themselves on the back, and for good reason, right? If this was true, then the Black community really rallied. They elevated this case. They got her national attention. And there was sort of this perception of like, that scared the kidnappers off. They let her go. They weren't ready for this. And it's just kind of sad to watch now that we know what we know. I mean,
it does sound like a believable course of action, that they would get all up in arms. They would investigate this. The kidnappers would panic and would let her go. But that's not what happened?
So that's not what happened. So while people were overjoyed that Carlee was safe, from the moment she returned, the story just kept getting weirder. Information about what exactly had happened, like I said, was very slowly trickling out. I kind of had the perception that the police weren't like pushing her very hard for information, which was annoying because, again, it was this massive search, 2-day thing, and all of a sudden she's back and it kind of just fell flat. But then we began slowly getting in. I'll just let you hear these details fresh for yourself because I want your real-time reaction. Russell told detectives when she did finally speak with them that when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came from the woods, forced her into a car, and then she woke up in the trailer of a semi-truck, which I would think would be very just visible if there was a semi-truck helping to kidnap you. Anyways, she said she was taken by a white man with orange hair with a bald spot and a woman, and she said she heard a child crying. Russell said she was forced to undress, and she believes the two took pictures of her. She said the woman then played with her hair and fed her cheese crackers. She said she was eventually able to escape and ran through some woods before she was able to find her way back home. Now, the cheese crackers in particular have lit up the internet. We have to roll one of many TikToks addressing this very weird detail in her story.
Ever since that press conference, I've had questions about one important detail of that story. The cheese crackers. Was it Ritz Bits? Was it those cheese crackers that are put together already? A nice little spread? Was it sharp cheddar on a Ritz, or was it saltines with American? And then could be Cheese Whiz? I think this matters.
Brad, I don't know what kind of kidnappers these are. I've never heard of kidnappers feeding someone charcuterie before, but this is when the internet broke on Carlee, right? There were still people that were sort of in her camp. After these details came out, everyone was like, girl, get out of here. Like, your kidnappers played with your hair, gave you cheese crackers, and then you just got to run away. Like, no, something's not adding up at all.
Well, yeah, I don't even find the cheese crackers the most sus part of this. And more so, she believes they took pictures. Did they or did they not? And then wouldn't you notice that? And then she said she was eventually able to escape and ran through some woods before she was able to find her way and walk back home. I don't know about you, but if you drop me on a highway miles from my house right now at night or whatever, and then I escaped and ran through some woods, I would not be able to walk my way home. Like, I don't know. That part to me is a little harder to understand.
Right. She didn't have her phone. She didn't have any GPS. So I mean, I don't think I could get from here to downtown Atlanta without my GPS. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. If somebody was trying to kidnap you, I think they'd drive you pretty far from the point where they first snatch you because people would be looking for you. So yeah, this is when people were just like, no more. Everybody turned against Carlee. And then the police released even more suspicious details. They said that before going missing, Carlee had been Googling some very odd things. 2 days before she left, Russell searched online whether or not you have to pay for an Amber Alert and what age it cuts off at. The day she was gone, Russell searched for local bus tickets as well as the abduction-based action movie Taken. And the police chief said, and the police chief said that investigators found other concerning searches that shed light on Russell's state of mind prior to her disappearance, but the police were not releasing them out of respect for her privacy. So I don't know what all this girl was Googling, but she Googled you have to pay for an Amber Alert. Ma'am. And that's where people get rightfully pissed off at Carlee because, again, there are hundreds of thousands of people missing. There are many Black people who are missing who would love to have this kind of coverage. Their families would do anything to get this kind of coverage and attention and resources for them. And yet this was all wasted on this woman who is very clearly lying about her entire stories. So police also were losing faith with Carlee after this. They said they had been unable to verify most of the initial statements and have no reason to believe there's a threat to public safety. At that time, detectives stopped short of accusing her of maliciously lying, instead questioning her mental state, but said they were now struggling to believe her story. Carlee then refused to be interviewed for a second time, they said, after initially giving them her elaborate abduction story. And it was also revealed that prior to going missing, she was seen on surveillance cameras stealing a dark bathrobe and toilet paper from the Woodhouse Spa where she worked. Now, Black TikTok in particular had a just visceral reaction to this online. I want to play 2 clips. Let's play this more serious one first.
So this woman called the police, pretended like she saw a toddler wandering on the side of the interstate, then snatched off her own wig and proceeded to walk into the woods pretending like she got abducted. She had people around the world on their knees praying to God that she was found safely as well as this toddler. Meanwhile, the police just found her Google searches where she's sitting here looking up the movie Taken and wondering how much it costs to get an Amber Alert sent out. You completely distracted the world from the fact that there are actually 500,000 new children a year in the United States going missing. People's time and emotions are not to be played with, and neither is child trafficking. There are actually people out there missing who desperately need our help.
So he makes great points. Carlee not only lied, she stole resources from missing kids, especially missing Black kids who, again, their families, many of them would kill to have the kind of coverage and resources and attention that she got. So everybody is justified in being thoroughly pissed off at Carlee. This is absolutely inexcusable. But some of the reactions were also pretty funny. And I want to play this other clip from TikTok. This woman is hilarious. And I think she speaks for us all. Also, before we roll this TikTok, guys, just a quick language warning. She says a lot of profanity, but I'm leaving it in because it's hilarious.
This is Carlee Russell.
Carlee, bitch, you was lying this whole motherfucking time. You got me on here acting like I'm Oprah Winfrey, ho. Bitch, I done peeled off every single one of my lashes, ho, because I'm so stressed out about you, bitch. I'm talking about I keep watching the highway footage. I just swear up and down a midget got you in a headlock, bitch. But that's really you going in your back seat to get the snacks from Target, bitch. Bitch, I done called my grandma about you, ho. I done told my grandma to create a prayer circle for you. I really was worried. Then you done stole from your fucking job. You done put the money in your sock. Bitch, you done rolled up to your mama's house butt-ass naked, but you got some money in your sock. Some of the kidnappers gave it to me. So the kidnappers gave you a parting gift. This why they don't believe us when we be missing, bitch. It's really people out here that need fucking help and you wasting our time because you trying to make a nigga mad. You finna piss me the fuck off, Carlee. I really made a video about this shit. I don't be speaking on nothing, but I spoke on your lying ass. And you had to be from Birmingham, too.
Wow, that was quite something. But colorful language aside, I mean, her fundamental point that this discredits real victims is totally true. I mean, it's Jussie Smollett 2.0. I don't understand the psychology of why someone would do something, especially knowing how much it will hurt real victims and real survivors in the future.
I mean, I think we can say Carlee is not an intellectual for sure. She clearly didn't think this through. Whether or not she was having some kind of mental break, we haven't been given a reason yet for why she did what she did. She did issue a confession/apology through her attorney. He sent a statement to the Hoover police chief last Monday. He said, "My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or at any hotel during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to the community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family." Charges, by the way, have not been filed, but may be forthcoming. Police say that they are discussing that with the district attorney. And her boyfriend has broken up with her and has been he's been talking to the media a lot. He's really taken his moment in the spotlight here. So I don't know what all will shake out of this.
She deserves to be dumped based off of this.
Yeah, kind of a red flag. There's been some internet talk. Their boyfriend was cheating on her and she was trying to go missing to get his attention. And that's why she wanted the Amber Alert. But none of that's been verify. We haven't been given an actual reason by anybody.
That would not justify this.
No, nothing justifies this, to be clear. But I think people are really curious, like, what were the motivations? Did she have a mental break? What was going on? Personally, I think charges should be filed. This is, again, it's inexcusable. You're wasting tremendous resources. And you did just make it that much harder for Black people to get the attention they should get when they go missing or are harmed in the media. So just, bad all around. But I will say, I appreciate the effort and the conscious effort that many people online were making to try to even out this disparity in coverage. I hope that this doesn't detract from that in the future, because this is an outlier. The majority of people who go missing are legitimately missing, are being harmed, are in danger, and we need to take those cases seriously, especially for children. So Carlee needs to get her comeuppance, and this was a wild ride. But I do think there is like a small silver lining in it, and in that this case did blow up. So I guess that's my 2 cents.